All right, here we go. This is another green fig, red interior taste test. I don't have them labeled, sorry. Whoops. On the left, Paradiso Siro. Then we have White Madeira #1, followed by JH Adriatic. And very exciting, Angelito. And then on the right, we have Unknown Prosciutto. So, back are my two little expert testers, Genevieve and Rosalie, the fancies. All right, I'm gonna cut these in pieces and then we're gonna go right at it. I do wanna, actually, let me give a quick close-up, if I can keep it in focus, just to show you the color. All right, you can clearly see there that White Madeira #1 is darker, right? Has a blacker color. Now, I've often thought Unknown Prosciutto and White Madeira #1 are very similar. I do see some differences, but I also see a lot of similarities. These two have that little void in the center. I do think they're different now, but man, they're pretty similar. But something that I noticed again this time and all of last year are these Angelitos. They're super dense, really sweet, full of flavor. These are all, again, uncaprified. I think my wasp population may have been completely decimated by the black fig fly, but unfortunate. But here we go. Let me cut them up and then I'll be right back. Girls, what do you have to say?
Yum, 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 yum.
Okay, I'm just going to explain how we're going to do this tasting because I'm trying to taste them in order of more mild to more intense. So we're going to start out with Paradiso Siro. Actually, I don't remember. This is my first one of these this year. It might be stronger than I recall, but we'll see. So we're going to do Paradiso Siro, JH Adriatic, Unknown Prosciutto. Then we're going to go Angelito and White Madeira #1. So let's see how this goes. All right, girls. Just remember to speak nice and loud so that they can hear everything that you have to say. And I'm going to let you lead. What do you think? What do you have to say?
This one is really fruity, but it's also like the texture is more watery, but it's not like one of the ones that are like super watery, and it's not one that's like super thick. It's definitely like a little bit of both. And it tastes really yummy. I like it.
Good.
I loved it a lot also. And oh, okay. I like the skin a lot and the middle part.
What did you like about the skin?
The skin was tasty and it was thick, and I like thickness.
Yeah. I agree, the skin was fairly thick, but also sweet. I like it when the skin adds something to it. Sometimes the skin is a detractor of the overall experience, and in this case, I felt like it adds to the experience. So, plus for that one on the texture. All right, JH Adriatic. I know Rosalie. Oh, they were going to fight for that one. They had the honey dripping.
I didn't know.
How dare you take it?
All right.
Whoa, it's like hard.
I want that little sucking out the honey.
Yeah, it is fun. The honey, if you're new to figs, the honey actually condenses and becomes like a gel, like a harder, kind of like a gummy worm. It's delicious. We've often thought about, just to be silly, when you get caprified figs, they oftentimes will have a lot more of that syrup in there. So the kids have been like, we need to pour it all out and make a cup of it and, and make a gummy worm or something out of that. That would take so many figs though. Okay, girls, what do you think?
It was very sweet, and I loved the wateriness.
Yeah.
And I love the skin again.
Yeah, I know what you mean by wateriness. It isn't actually watery, but the flavors are not as pronounced. It is more mild. It's a nice, light, fruity, juicy.
Like a watery texture.
Yeah, it is
a watery taste.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one, the skin on this one was like kind of thick, but it wasn't like super tough that you like couldn't really bite it that well. And the inside texture was more seedy, but it was a little watery too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, what did I say is next? Oh, unknown prosciutto. All right. This one has a lot more seed crunch, huh?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, as quiet as I try to be chewing with my mouth closed and all that stuff, I realized on the videos, it still picks up all the crunching. So I'll try not to smack and slurp and be loud, but I can't really hide the crunchy seeds. What do you think, girls?
This one has a...
You go. Okay, the skin was thicker than I like sometimes, but it was still really good. And the seeds were very crunchy, and I liked that.
Yeah, the seeds on this one were really crunchy, and the skin was definitely very hard and tough. And the flavor was like a little more, like a little less watery.
Yeah, good. Yep, more concentrated flavor. It's not a thicker skin as in like thickness size wise, but it is a tougher skin for sure. This one, whenever it gets overly ripe, or not overly ripe, but really wrinkly, the skin on this one tends to get harder and becomes somewhat leathery. All right, here we go, Angelito. I'm excited about this one. This is only my third one of the year. My trees are loaded with them, but it's still fairly early. So we're gonna have Angelito. The girls don't really know what to expect on this one.
It smells like victory.
What'd you say?
It smells like victory.
Did this one have a stronger aroma? I didn't actually pay attention to that.
Yeah, this one has more of a, definitely a sweeter flavor than some of the other ones that we've tried. And the skin is also more like tough, not thick, but just like harder.
Mm-hmm.
And this one was also like in between, kind of watery-ish for the texture. And you could also still taste the seeds.
Every time I breathe, I can still taste it.
Mm.
In the throat.
Is that good?
It was very, very good.
All right. Well, for those watching this, I think that's pretty cool. You guys got to see a live, unscripted response, and that was great. I feel very much the same about this. It's a very impressive fig. Uncaprified, they're still delicious, great figs up there with some of my favorite Adriatics. So I'm glad the girls felt the same. I was kind of scared to do this, but again, it's all about honesty and making sure we're not spreading any false hype. So that was one of the reasons I actually called the girls out. I was going to do this video by myself, and then I wanted you guys to see reactions of people who don't know that Angelito is supposed to be a superb top tier fig. So thank you, girls. That was great. Mm-hmm. All right. White Madeira number 1. What's going on over there, Rosie?
I just hear a whole bunch of crunchy crunch.
Yeah, this one's like the texture is a little more sticky than some of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little more like, not sour, but just more like tart.
Mm-hmm.
And the skin is like kind of hard, but it's not like super.
Great.
I liked it a lot. The middle part was like, and it was crunchy again. The seeds were crunchy.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Do the seeds, like, can they grow inside of you? Like, if you plant them, do they grow?
These seeds won't, because the fig wasp that I've told you guys about has not been very active this year. So these seeds are empty. They don't have what it takes to make a plant, so they wouldn't do anything.
Okay.
All right. Well, that was great. Again, the girls' differences in describing watery versus what Genevieve just said there, sticky. That would be what we talk about, a lighter, softer, juicier texture instead of not necessarily watery, versus a jammy. So she says thick, and I definitely think that matches the same. The White Madeira #1 is awesome. It's a real jammy, delicious, thick, rich, sticky, coats your mouth texture. I mean, I gotta say, well, girls, which are your top two?
Angelina and the one that we just had.
White Madeira #1.
I liked all of them, but I just feel like the texture on these two were really like my favorite texture, because I really like the kind of watery, more soft texture, but for flavor, I think definitely these two.
Okay, so Genevieve pointed to these two being her favorites as far as the texture. She likes the lighter, softer, juicier of the Paradiso Siro and the JH Adriatic. And the flavor-wise, she went towards these two, White Madeira #1 and Angelito. And I agree wholeheartedly with all of that. These two, Angelito and White Madeira #1, are both excellent, top-tier figs, amazing. But they're different also. So that's the thing, is the texture and flavor of this one are very different from this. So even though they look similar and they're both, I'm rating top tier, I would keep both of those, just because it's not like one of them is a slightly upgraded version of the other. They're different. They offer unique attributes, and that's one of the things I like about figs and why I grow a lot of different varieties. If I have 3 different varieties of figs and all 3 are very similar taste profile, I'm going to get rid of 2 of them and only keep the best. So in this case, those 2 are similar, but they're different enough that I would keep them both. Girls, thank you so much for your valuable insight.
You're welcome.
Bye.